Welcome back to beautiful Nicaragua, guys. And today we have a special video. We're building a home out here in Nicaragua, and this week we've made a lot of progress. So I want to take the time to show you how far we've gotten and what to expect. Since we've made a lot of progress, it's going to be easier to visualize the design and get a feel of what it's going to look like. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So right behind me, what you're seeing is the main structure of the building, the bones. So the bones is actually made out of galvanized aluminum steel. So you may ask the question, why didn't we decide to use wood? And the reason it's because this home is being built on a coffee farm that we're working on developing here in Nicaragua. And in this weather, it rains a lot. It is very humid, very windy, and wood tends to decay over time and the humidity just eats away at it. So I wanted the structure to be made out of something that's gonna last for a long time and decades. This is why I picked galvanized aluminum steel. And this material that you see here, it's common, it's cheap, and it's across all of Nicaragua, so it's easy to get the materials up to your property. Another material that you can build out of is cinder block, but it's very heavy. So if you're building in the city, that would be something that you would look into. But since I'm building here in the remote jungles of Nicaragua, I needed something light and sturdy that's gonna last for decades. Now, let me walk you through the layout. Now, the main house is gonna be composed of a couple different sections. We're gonna have a parking area for the vehicles here. As you can see, I have my truck in there that we were doing a test fitting. Now, this is 3.5 meters wide by around 12 meters long. So this is going to be just a general area for parking, working underneath a covered area, maybe a workshop in the future. So for the interior of the layout, I'll start on this side so it makes a little more sense. So you guys saw where the truck's going to be parked and where we're going to have the covered area. But this post here, this straight line through this way represents what's going to be inside in the living spaces. And currently right now, what you're looking at here, down here, is the room we're gonna have. So that post over there to this post over here, 4 meters by 4 meters over here, this area is gonna be one of the rooms that's gonna be upstairs. Now this room is gonna have this incredible view. So we wanna do windows that are at least 2 meters long because we wanna make sure that we can see this from inside. But coming out of this room, this post here is gonna represent a division into the next room. There's gonna be a door right here. And this door, after you step through it, it's going to be a kitchen over here with a view over here. So we're going to have a big window. The kitchen's going to go up to there. So it's also 4 meters by 4 meters. So the kitchen's going to go up to here. It's going to be a very basic kitchen because it's going to be a cabin style. Now, in terms of spacing, how much square footage we're building here, I'm going to give you an idea so that way you can compare it here in your mind. So the overall square footage, including the garage area, is around 200 meters squared. So I think that calculates out to 2,100 square feet. So actually, let's do some math here. That way you can kind of get an idea of the average home where they live in the States or in Canada. So 200 meters square is 2,152 square feet. So I think that's like an average size home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. So that's what's gonna equate over here once we're fully done with it. But keep in mind that some of the spacing is gonna be outside, like the garage area, and then we also have a couple of square footage for the patio area, and then the basement. And then on the other side, what you see here from that post, and this post, this is all gonna be a living room. So we're gonna have a living/working area here. So if you work remotely, or we're working on content, making videos for you guys to show you our journey, we can work from inside here. We're gonna have a huge 3-meter window here to respect that view and make sure that we feel like we're in nature here. But you're gonna be able to walk down here and you'll be able to step through a set of ladders, and then you're gonna go downstairs where we might have 1 to 2 more rooms. So we're still building that out. Upstairs here is phase 1. So coming out of the interior of the home, so this post here is going to represent the wall that's going to divide the next phase. So from in here to here is all the living room. But from here to this side is going to be an open patio. So this is going to be an area that's going to have concrete slab, and that's pretty much it. It's going to be an open patio, and you're going to be able to come out of the living room and just sit over here and enjoy a cup of coffee with this view out here, incorporated in nature. And on the left side, what you're going to be able to see is the coffee processing plant that's up there. So you'll be able to see the coffee being processed You'll be able to see the coffee lots that are out in the back over here that are growing and that they're going to be picked in about 2 years. And on the right side is another piece of lot that we're going to develop into about like 6 acres of coffee there. So overall, that would be the view here. So from that post is the living room interior. From this post out here, it's an open deck concept for everybody to sit, relax, and enjoy. And then we got the downstairs here. So going downstairs is gonna have 2 access points. So we're gonna have this point here, which is these stairs that we built out of recycled tires. That's been there for a long time. So we're gonna do a lot more of that on the farm. But you're gonna be able to come down here. And I still haven't decided how much of the downstairs I'm gonna cover because it is pretty big. It's almost around 13 meters long and it's about 4.5 meters wide. But at minimum, I know I want to cover enough to get 2 beds and potentially a bath in here. So we're currently below the area where I told you guys that we're gonna have a set of stairs, which is right here. So in this area here, the set of stairs are gonna come through the top and then they're gonna land right here. And then this area is gonna be covered at least minimum half, which would be around 7 meters long by 4.5 meters wide with 2 windows here and a door out. So you're gonna be able to sleep over here and then you're gonna have a door outside and be able to see all this beautiful lush green out here. But getting to this point has been really hard, to be honest. We've had difficulties building here in Nicaragua. So up next, I want to share with you what those difficulties are. And let's do it over a cup of coffee. I'm going to brew some coffee and let's talk about it. The coffee that we're brewing, here it is, directly from the mountains that you see behind me. So the property we're on is actually my family's farm that was abandoned. And I inherited this piece of farm after they passed away. So we're working on rebuilding the farm. It used to be a specialty coffee farm and we're bringing it back to life. So over the past 2 years that I've been working on this, I managed to recuperate the plants and this is what's in this bag here. So very good, delicious stuff. If you want to try this coffee yourself, there's going to be a link in the comment section there that'll link to my website. When you order it, you're buying beans directly from these mountains that you see behind me. So let's go ahead and brew some coffee. All right, now that we brought the water to a boil, we're just gonna go ahead and pour the water in here. Now it's been 2 years since we relocated to Nicaragua and left the States. And thinking back on those 2 years, I'll say that time has flown by. And sometimes in life, when you step out of your comfort zone and you go into a new country, it can be very difficult. It took us almost a year to get accustomed to life here in Nicaragua, but I must say that it's definitely worth it. I do not regret moving over here. It's opened up all these perspectives. I'm gonna make another video sharing my 2-year experience of just living here in Nicaragua. But I wanna understand from people watching these videos here, have you ever considered living outside the country you're in and potentially moving out overall in general? If so, where would you wanna go? Comment below, see what countries come up. You can see it right here. This is dripping. This is all the hard work these past 2 years that we've been doing. Look at that liquid gold. Millions of people drink this in the morning. The regular cup of joe that I feel like we don't appreciate enough in life. We're gonna swish it around a little bit and make sure all those flavors blend well together. And then we're gonna pour all our hard work into this cup of coffee. And let's talk about the challenges that we face building here in Nicaragua. Whew, that tastes really, really good. So, what was the difficulties about building in Nicaragua? Well, I'm gonna name 2 big ones and I'm gonna throw in some tips in there. So just in case this is something that maybe interests you, you wanna do in the future. Maybe you're looking into going to go live somewhere or building in another country, or maybe you like these kind of ideas for alternative living. One of the big problems, or I say the biggest problem for me, was people. Now, people breaks down into different sections. So we're gonna start with the first one, which is the quality of labor. Now, here in Nicaragua, there isn't a building code like you find in the States, where an inspector is going to come and check up on your work. Now, this could be a good thing, but also it can be a bad thing. In the good sense, it's that you can move projects fast. You don't have to wait around for inspectors. You can design whatever you want, and you can progress quickly, and it's cheaper. And the bad sense is a con that because there is no really any inspections, people that don't know what they're doing can get a job and get away with doing a bad job. And if you aren't familiar with construction, then you're not gonna know what to do in that sense, and things won't be structurally built correctly. So in my experience, what happened to me was I spent 2 months looking for the first person to come do the first phase of this project. Now, the first phase of this project, after our team took care of the demolition, we spent about a week demoing the whole site and clearing the layout. The first phase of this project was coming in to build some piers for the foundation where the metal galvanized steel beams were going to be welded on. Now this required digging holes, it required construction experience to be able to level and lay out these piers so they're squared. So the whole building is squared and it's leveled height-wise. After 2 months of looking around in Nicaragua, I finally found this guy. I finally found him. He's like, cool, I'll go do the job. I have X amount of experience. And I brought him up to the farm, so it's in the remote jungles here, and he spent a week working. And during that week, I couldn't come to the farm frequently because I had other projects in the city. And by the time I came over here, I found out that the piers that he had done had a bunch of mistakes. Like, it was all over the place. Like, first of all, he didn't square them off correctly. So rooms, instead of being a perfect square, were like out of alignment. So my walls would have been completely screwed. Second is the height of each pier was different. So it was never leveled. And a bunch of other mistakes that we uncovered. And unfortunately, by the time I discovered those mistakes, he already had set the piers. So I ended up speaking to the guy and saying, hey, look, you made a bunch of mistakes. This is not right. You know, how do you expect me to pay you? He admitted to the mistakes, and he said that he was going to correct the mistakes. So not only after being delayed for looking for someone, I got delayed again because he went back to his hometown, spent 3 days there, and I had to bring him back up for another week where he spent fixing these bases. Now, these bases were fixed, but they weren't 100%. So he finishes the project, he's done with that phase. So really I had kind of a bad experience with him. And I ended up paying him all the money though he asked for. And the reason is because at the end of the day, he has a family to feed. Yes, his quality of work wasn't right, but I feel like I was in a more privileged position than him, having the income to build something like this. So I ended up paying him. And I took that as a learning lesson not to work with him again and be careful more next time in the future. Here in Nicaragua, you don't have Google reviews or Yelp or Angie's List like you do in the States, where you can pull up the contractor's name and see their star rating. Here, you're gambling with intuition and word of mouth. But so that was the first phase of the project, just a bunch of delays, a bunch of things went wrong. So after we corrected them, we were ready to move on to the second phase of the project. Now, there's a theme in this project here, and it's finding people. So there's a large migration crisis across all of Central and South America, people leaving the country. There's a labor shortage in terms of skilled trade, where majority of people graduating school doesn't want to be a welder or a blue-collar worker. I think this shortage is also appearing in the States, because I've heard that, you know, plumbers pretty soon are going to be rare to find, electricians and stuff like that, because less and less people are going into the trade industry. So it's the same thing here in Nicaragua. So finding people that do good quality work for the timeline you're looking for is going to be difficult. It's going to be tight squeeze, because more than likely the good people are busy. So for the second phase, I needed to weld all the galvanized aluminum steel beams onto the piers so we can throw the roof. And now this is where it took me another 2 months to find someone, because after I was able to call and look around, I met this person, really good welder. He has decades of experience, and he told me, hey, I'll do your job, but it's going to be a month later because I need to finish this job I'm working on. So I waited a month, and then once that month got there, he told me he needed another half a month because the project got delayed and there was materials that never arrived. So I waited another half a month. So a month and a half of waiting to make sure I secured the right person to come handle this welding job. Now, it was important to wait because this welding job, there was a bunch of mistakes from the first phase. So I needed this guy to kind of use his eye and his skill to level everything, to make sure the roof came out square and the walls came out square and is structurally sound. So thankfully I waited. And because I waited, now we've managed to progress this far, and we're almost ready to throw the slab of concrete, which is going to be phase 3 of the project, where I need to go find someone else. So I'm going to be making an updated video on this to see how it goes with that. Hopefully I don't have any more bad experience. Now, it's not to say that Nicaragua can't build and it's all bad. No, there's really good workers here. It's just that they're tied up and they're hard to find. And it goes to the same for any other country that you're going to go to. But I am happy, I am blessed that we got into this point so far. It's been a lot of work, but overall, I mean, it's beautiful to be building out here in the mountains. Let me tell you, I mean, look at this spectacular view. You lose track of time while you're out here. You're in Mother Nature. You're surrounded by coffee, fruit trees, banana trees. It's incredible weather right now, and it's so quiet and peaceful out here. It's just a very beautiful area to come and disconnect. There's a lot of phases going forward in the farm that we need to address, like where the family lives. We need to build a camp, so when we have more acres of coffee, we're gonna have a lot more people staying at the farm. What you're seeing behind me here, all this coffee processing plant needs to be rebuilt. So we're slowly chewing away at it. And I feel that by me getting my home built here, I can be able to establish more roots and spend more time with the team, which I really want to do, and show you guys more of behind the scenes. So it's gonna allow me to come out here and stay two weeks, 1 month, filming everything and documenting everything. So it's gonna be a major plus. But overall, this is gonna be a multi-generational thing. Like, I'm planting trees right now that I'm not gonna be able to sit under. That would probably be my son or his son that was gonna take advantage of the shade of those trees. Make sure, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that button and join the movement. We want to keep on showing what Nicaragua is about and growing this coffee movement into as big as we can. If you want to try the coffee, remember this delicious coffee straight out of the mountains you see behind me. Click on the link on the comment section. And don't forget about that question. If you were to move to another country, which one would it be? I'll see you guys. Hasta luego, mi hermanos. It is your coffee brother signing off from Nicaragua.